Insta or something, but go on to the website and add their 3 things and actually go out to the world and to actually make them a reality, actually do them. So it's not just about promoting our brand, it's about engaging with people in ways that are fun and interesting so that they then go out and take action. And then there's similarities between how a marketing campaign and how social campaign work as well, in that we do have a very strong brand that we want to sell and we want to promote. So Oxfam Australia is a significant brand, its colours, it's what it represents. So that's something that we protect and we use. We're very careful about the way we use it in the way that we market what we do. And we have the same goal of wanting to create a buzz around our brand and getting media attention and really getting the community to talk about what we're presenting. So for example, this week, I'll tell you in a minute about our Grow campaign. And this week, to get people really talking about that campaign, we've got pop-up gardens at Redfern Station. We've got all sorts of interactive things that are out in the community, getting people to talk about the issue of food by coming to the community in ways that are fun and engaging as well. So it's anything to create that buzz, to get the community talking, and then to think about how those issues are relevant. So, as I've said a number of times already, it's not enough just to get people to like what we're presenting. So people need to be informed and then inspired to take action. So the exercise that you're going to do after this, the marketing strategies that I want you to consider are ones that take that extra step. So what does an ad on a YouTube video, the first 15 seconds, when you're watching that, it's like, oh, come on, I want to watch the video, blah, blah, blah. Are you really engaged in that? If you're using that as a marketing strategy to promote Oxfam or a campaign, why would you use that medium? How is someone going to see that? Is it inviting them to take an extra step, log onto the website, do this particular activity? So think about your marketing strategies in terms of actual meaning and relevance for a particular cause rather than just to promote a product. You've probably seen the fair trade symbol before on food, coffee products and stuff like that. That's a really successful marketing tool that we have now. So companies which wear that label, which wear that brand, now are part of that that group which is associated with fair trade. So that's really, really successful. Oxfam is behind that. A number of other organisations were as well. And that's a great example of how a campaign message around fair trade and consumer power pushes the companies like Cadbury's to then take on that logo and to take on that meaning, to give people, to give farmers that are producing the cacao beans the actual money that they deserve for growing that product. So the other campaigns that we run, Close the Gap, Climate Change, Labour Rights, there's many more, but some of these you might recognise the names of. So when we're planning a campaign, there's a lot of political strategy and there's the power analysis, which, what do you call your terminology for that?
Power analysis is actually stakeholder analysis. Analyzing the players in the field and then looking which powers they have, the strengths they have, the interests they have.
Yeah, so similar to what you've already been looking at, the stakeholder analysis. So we do that as well for marketing for social change, because we need to think about who are the people that hold power, who are the allies that we can work with that can help us really push this idea in this campaign forward. So very much we're trying to capture the imagination once we've identified that power analysis, then we go about the ideas phase. When I say we, I'm talking about the campaigns team within Oxfam that does all this work, which is part of the domestic work we do in Australia. So looking at the themes of the campaign, unpacking those. So what are the appropriate messages that we can communicate to the general public? So we have researchers do massive reports for us and people that work internally in Oxfam that spend months and months preparing all the information and the data so that it's correct, so that we have all the hard evidence behind our campaign. But then what of that do we communicate to the general public in ways part of that, making it really clear and meaningful, is storytelling, is the power of stories. So actually capturing stories in the field in the areas that we work with. So communities impacted by climate change, talking to them, capturing their stories, and within that, it's capturing the resilience and the innovation of those communities. So gathering stories through photography and film is a big part of it. And they will also be part of the broader look and feel of our campaign. They'll all tie into it. And when we're capturing images and stories from the field, we don't present starving children with bloated bellies and flies buzzing around them in order to tell you to donate more money. We have, in fact, the opposite strategy. We only depict people in ways that are empowering and positive, because often people that we work with in these countries, in most cases, are the most determined, resilient people that you can come across. So it's not about presenting them as victims and as us and them and we're going to go out and save them. It's also presenting that hope to the Australian public of actually what you can be part of in supporting these communities to be able to use that innovation and determination to create something better for their lives. Grow campaign. So if you haven't been listening at this point, just switch on now, because what I'm going to tell you is about the information I'm going to tell you is going to be relevant to the exercise that you're going to do. So the Grow campaign is our latest big campaign. And it's basically all about the broken food system. So I'll show you an animation to sort of unpack what that word means, broken food system. But first of all, I'll just tell you a little bit about how long we're running the campaign. It's just this year that we started it, and over 30 of the Oxfam affiliates that work around the world are running the same campaign, and it's going to run for 4 years. So we've determined that this campaign will be a priority to focus on in the next couple of years. So with everything that's happening in the world, we've shifted our focus just from climate change, for example, and seeing that all the issues relating to climate change also are related to food injustice. That we have enough food on our planet for everyone to eat. Yet 1 in 7 people still go hungry every night. And we have obesity and then malnourishment, and that sort of massive juxtaposition in our world is also reflected with the fact that 1/3 of all food is wasted as well. So things like this are a big part of our campaign, and what we're trying to encourage is for a grassroots movement. So it's not just about telling actions, telling a community what they should do, it's about supporting local movement around these issues. So you don't have to support communities overseas, it can be starting a community garden in your own community and reducing food waste in your own home, in your own life. So we launched the dinner campaign a couple of months ago with some reality dinners. So we had people coming in to have a meal, and they were given 3 cards, 1 of 3 cards. And they got the first one, they only got a bowl of rice and a tiny bit of beans or something. And the second card, they got some more rice and a few different types of vegetables and things. And the third card, they got like a 4-course meal. So it's all people having this dinner together, and you could be sitting next to your best friend who's got this 4-course meal and you've just got a bowl of rice. And it was a way to just talk about the food injustice that's out there in the world, and that often in communities where you have both inequality that exists. So we've also got a website where people we've got a few celebrity chefs that are involved, and we've got some videos and stories and case studies that they told you, which are a big part of our campaign. And to tell you a little bit more about the campaign itself, I'm going to show you a video that